And we will start the music over. Okay. So welcome everyone. It's a bit more chilly than it has been. It feels nice, but at the same time, I get cold really fast. So hopefully during our flow, we can warm up. Today, we're going to be focusing a lot on downward facing dog. We're going to do a lot of different variations, but as a friendly reminder that nothing is required. If something just doesn't feel good, you do not have to do it. You can take any modification. We are definitely not looking for perfection. We're just looking for progress and just peace, harmony in the body. Not trying to overstrain ourselves, but just trying to feel good. So today we're going to start in a nice seated position. It can be an easy pose, or it can be crisscross applesauce. If that doesn't feel good on the hips or the knees, you can always sit on a pillow or a bolster, or even just have your legs out. So whatever pose feels good to you to settle in. Maybe begin to close the eyes, or letting them be nice and heavy. Gently swaying side to side. Getting out any pent-up energy or just anxiety, and just letting it flow out of the body. Sometimes just swaying side to side just makes the body feel a little more calmer, a little more safe. And then whenever you're ready, maybe finding a little more stillness. Find that connection with the earth, with the sit bones, grounding them in. And then on your next big inhale, just lengthening up the spine all the way to the crown of the head, lifting up. And then gently tucking in the ribcage just a bit, not flaring them out. Looping the shoulders down the spine a bit more. So for the next 45 minutes, you have no obligations, only to yourself. No need to think of anything that happened earlier this morning or earlier this weekend. No need to worry about anything that you have to do after this class. Just paying attention to the breath. Just noticing how each inhale expands and lifts the body up. And then just noticing, bringing awareness, how the exhales release and soften the body just a bit more. And then if it resonates with you, setting an intention for your practice. It can be a positive affirmation. Or maybe it's releasing something that no longer serves or benefits you. Or you can even dedicate this class to someone. No rules, all intentions are welcome. And then we'll just take a big breath in through the nose. Pause at the top just for a second. And then exhale, release it all out. Begin to take the chin towards the chest. And then we'll slowly roll the neck to the right, towards the back. and circling to the left all the way to the front. And then we'll just reverse nice and slow. Once your chin meets the chest again, begin to slowly blink the eyes open, nice and soft. And we'll inhale, take the gaze all the way towards center. On your next inhale, we're gonna sweep the arms all the way up, lifting nice and tall. And then exhale, releasing the arms next to your side. Just a couple more times. Inhale, gather up all the air, all the energy. And then exhale, release it down. Last time, inhale, all the arms all the way up. Still grounding the sit bones into the ground. And then exhale, just release it down. So we'll take the right fingertips, place it off to the right side. If you have a blocker pillow, you can even do that to give you a little more leverage. And we'll inhale that left arm all the way up, reaching the fingertips towards the ceiling. And then as you exhale, begin to lean over to the right just a bit. Still planting that left sit bone down into the earth as you feel that side stretch all the way up to the fingertips. And then on your next inhale, see if you can open up the chest, maybe move the arm back just a bit. And then we'll take that top arm and begin to sweep it down and then sweep it all the way back up. Just gonna do this movement just a few times. Opening up the side body, opening up the chest as well. And if it feels good, the gaze can follow the fingertips. Getting a little mobility in the neck. And then wherever you are, we'll just do it one more time. We'll inhale both arms all the way up, reaching nice and tall. And then exhale, float it down. We'll just take the left fingertips off to the side. And then inhale that right arm all the way up, reaching nice and tall. And then exhale, begin to lean over to the left just a bit more. Grounding that right sit bone down. Just feeling little intercostal muscles of the ribs opening up nice and gentle. And again, if it doesn't feel good to lean over that much, just backing off. Next breath, and maybe opening up the chest a bit more, moving that top arm back just a few inches. And then gently sweeping the arm down, coming all the way back up. And see if you can just follow your breath with the arm. So we'll inhale the arm up. And then exhale, just sweeping it down. Being really nice and gentle with the shoulder, with the ribs, and the upper back. And we'll just do one more. Inhale the arm up, and then lift both arms up, reaching nice and tall, and then exhale the hands down behind your back. Clasp the hands together, and then take the knuckles down towards the tailbone, opening up the chest. Big breath in. And then on the breath out, release the fingertips. Let them curl forward a bit. If this is your range of motion right now, that's totally fine. Maybe sway a little side to side. Just opening up the hip flexors a bit. And then if you have the space, you can always place the forearms down on a pillow, blocks, or down to the floor. Just breathing into that low back. And then when you're ready, we'll walk the fingertips all the way back. If you have your legs crossed, just placing the opposite in front, balancing ourselves out. And then once you get situated again, we're just going to begin to twist to the right. We'll inhale the chest all the way up. And then exhale, begin to spin to the right just a bit more. Full breath in. On the breath out, begin to come back towards midline. And then we'll just walk the hands over to the left this time. Inhale the spine nice and tall. And then exhale, spinning around just a bit more again. Nothing too intense. Inhale in. And on the exhale, coming back towards midline. So we're just gonna take that right arm, bend the elbow, and then gently press the elbow down. See if you can take your gaze looking at the floor, and then see if maybe you can draw a line with your nose and see if you can look up, maybe even up towards the ceiling. That's more of an intense stretch, but you can always take your gaze down or even straight forward. And then we'll release out of that. Take that right arm, just cross it over your chest, looking over that right shoulder. And then we'll let go of that. We'll take the left arm, bend the elbow, and just gently press it down the back. Again, gaze is looking down at the floor. This might be enough. Maybe draw a line with your nose coming up towards center. Maybe even looking up towards the ceiling. And then backing off if something doesn't feel good. We'll release out of that. Take that left arm and just cross it over your chest. Gaze is looking over the left shoulder. And we'll inhale, begin to cactus the arms, open up the chest, gaze looks up. Exhale, begin to take the fingertips down, walking them out again. So again, you might be up here, maybe the forearms come down a bit. Just seeing what's going on in the legs, low back. And then when you're ready, we'll just walk the fingertips up. You can gently roll over your knees or come to a side seat, and then we'll make our way to a tabletop. So shoulders over the wrists, hips right over the knees, fingertips spread nice and wide like you're gripping a basketball. And then gaze is looking straight down. We want a nice neutral spine. Full breath in. Full breath out. On your next breath in, lower the belly, open up the chest, and the gaze will look up towards the ceiling. Exhale, begin to round the upper back, belly to spine, chin to chest. Just a couple more times. Inhale, pull the heart forward, tailbone points up for cow pose. And then exhale, reverse, doming the upper back, pressing the mat away for cat pose. And just one more time. Inhale for cow pose. And then exhale to a cat back. And then coming to that nice neutral spine. Again, gaze is looking straight down. Neck is in line with the spine. We're going to tuck the toes under. Engage the core, really spreading those fingertips nice and wide. We're going to press down and then just hover the knees. Just an inch. Engaging the core. Maybe even rounding the shoulders just a bit. Again, pressing them out away. And we'll stay here for one more breath. Keep the knees bent. We're going to take the hips all the way up and back, pulling the chest through for downward facing dog. So I know a lot of us like to just straighten our legs out right away, but see if you can straighten out the spine. So gaze is looking right in between the feet or the calves. Maybe shake your head yes and no, making sure the head and neck are nice and soft. And then begin to slowly pedal out the feet. Straightening one leg at a time, opening up the back of the legs. And just being really gentle with yourself. It's probably your first inversion of the day, so no need to go super deep. Just being really nice and easy. And then we'll find a bit of stillness. Again, going back to that downward facing dog, still having a nice little bend in the knees. It can always be a generous bend as well. And we'll just take a full breath in, full breath out. On your next inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat, and we're gonna slowly crawl all the way to the top. Nice simple steps. Once you make your way there, just bowing forward. And then if it feels good, grabbing onto opposite elbows, maybe swaying a little side to side and ragdoll. Just letting all that tension in the upper back and in the neck just release with gravity. And then we'll release the fingertips down to the ground, keeping the head nice and heavy. We're going to slowly roll up one notch at a time. Once you make your way up, loop the shoulders down the spine. Inhale the arms all the way up. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. Full breath in. Full breath out. Slight bend in the knees. We'll inhale, take the arms all the way up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Swan dive down with control. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands can be on top of the thighs or even the shins. And then exhale down. Twice more. Inhale, halfway lift. Nice flat back. Gaze is still looking straight down. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift last time. And then exhale, take the hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. And then on the breath out, lower the knees, bend the elbows, graze the ribcage down to the belly, flattening the feet. We'll inhale, lift the chest up just an inch, baby cobra. And then exhale down with control. Inhale, maybe a little higher this time, still engaging those glutes. And then exhale down. Last time, inhale maybe to a full cobra. And then exhale down. Tuck the toes under, knees can stay down, or lifting them up, engage the core, coming up to plank pose. And then all the way back, downward facing dog. And we'll take one breath in, one breath out. On your next breath in, coming up onto the tippy toes. And then exhale the heels down towards the mat. No worries if the heels don't touch. Twice more. Inhale up. Exhale the heels down. Last time. Inhale up. And then exhale down. Inhale, gaze toward the top of the mat. Slight bend in the knees, and we'll slowly walk up all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway left. Exhale, forward fold. Slowly begin to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Bring down through the feet. Inhale the arms all the way up. Hands come together. Exhale, hands to heart center. Full breath in. Full breath out. Again, bending the knees a little bit. Inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. And then on the breath out, lower the knees, bend the elbows, graze the ribcage down to the belly. We'll inhale up to cobra. So stay here if this is enough. If you have the space, begin to press down to the tops of the feet. Lift the quad, lift the hips up, and pull the chest forward for upward facing dog. And then we'll all meet back into a downward facing dog. Big inhale in, deeper exhale out. This time we're gonna bend both knees, chest comes toward the top of the legs. And then exhale, begin to straighten out both legs. Twice more, inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. Last time, inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. On your next breath in, gaze towards the top of the mat. This time, see if you can take a nice big step all the way to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing, lifting the arms, lifting the gaze. Exhale, hands down the heart center. Full breath in. Full breath out. We'll do one more sun salutation. So inhale, gather up all that air at the top. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower half fire all the way down, your choice. Inhale for cobra, upward facing dog. And then exhale back, downward facing dog. And again, we'll just stay here for one full breath. When you're ready, we'll inhale, gaze towards the top of the mat and taking a nice big step all the way to the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing. Exhale, take the hands down the heart center. And then just spreading the toes nice and wide into the ground, engaging the quads all the way up to the core, looping the shoulders down the spine. Maybe closing the eyes just for a moment. And then plugging the thumbs up into the sternum, just grabbing a hold of that heartbeat. Just feeling the life, the breath, the prana, just flowing in and out of you so naturally. So we'll take a big breath in. Exhale out the mouth. Twice more, inhale. Exhale, release. Last time, inhale. And then exhale. Beautiful. So we'll inhale the arms all the way up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower down. Inhale for cobra, upward facing. And then exhale, downward facing dog. So on your next breath in, we're gonna just lift that right leg all the way up, flex the foot. Hips are still closed, so that means your leg might be a little lower, and that's okay. It doesn't need to be all the way up here where your hip opens up, but we're closing off the hip, and we're really engaging that glute. And then we'll exhale, take that foot down just for a second. Inhale the leg up. And then exhale it down. Inhale up. And then exhale the foot back down. And then we're just gonna switch sides. So we'll inhale and take the left foot up, still closing off that hip, squeezing that left glute. And then exhale the foot down. 2 more times. Inhale that foot up. Exhale down. This time we'll inhale the foot all the way up. Now opening up the hip, bending the knee, opening up, maybe rolling out the ankle, circling open the hip. And then when you're ready, we'll straighten up that top leg, squaring off the hips. Inhale, lift that heel just a bit higher. And then exhale, take the knee towards the chest or towards the nose, and then plant that foot in between the hands, low lunge. Again, just letting the hips settle just for a breath. You can always have blocks underneath your hands if you need the support. And then once you find your foundation, really rooting both feet into the ground, engaging the core, we'll lift all the way up, high lunge. You're just making sure the shoulders are stacked right over the hips. That front knee stacked right over the ankle or a little behind, but not in front. And letting the arms come up if that feels good, or letting the fingertips energetically reach towards the earth. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. On your next inhale in, we'll straighten up that front leg, lift all the way up. Exhale, begin to spin open to the right, and then coming down into warrior 2. And then adjusting your stance as need be. And then see if you can open up the chest, the collarbones just a little broader. Let the arms be nice and long. Again, checking in with that front knee. And then imagining that there's an invisible wall behind you, and you really want to press that front thigh up against it. Again, 2 more deep breaths. Calm breath in. Calm breath out. On your next inhale, we'll tip it back, reverse. And then exhale, coming over to the front side, extended side angle. So bring that back heel into the ground, feeling that side stretch all the way to the fingertips, kind of like we did in the beginning. And then really pressing that left forearm into the top of the thigh, so not hanging out, but really putting some support and leverage in that arm. If you have the room already, maybe take the fingertips down to a block or down to the ground. Maybe that top arm comes to the low back or even finds that left hip crease. And if and only if you have the space, maybe grab on and hook both hands together. And again, if something doesn't feel right or feel good, just backing off. We'll stay here for one more breath in, one more breath out. Using that core, we'll tip it all the way back, reverse warrior. Exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the ground, low lunge. Left foot meets the right. And you can go straight into downward facing dog or to take your flow. So once you're in your downward facing dog, see if you can take your feet as wide as the mat. And then pressing into your hands, we're gonna really press our hips all the way back, feeling a different kind of stretch in the back of the legs. So pulling the heart through the arms. Head and neck are nice and soft, and pulling the belly button in towards the spine. And seeing if you can get your legs as straight as possible. We can always have a bend if you need to. So we'll stay here for 2 more breaths. And then we'll walk the feet back towards hip width apart. Inhale, gaze towards the mat. And then exhale, take a nice big step up towards the top. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, root to rise all the way to standing, lifting the arms. Exhale, hands come down towards midline. Big breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, gathering it all back up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, take the hands down, stepping back to plank pose. Stay for the breath in. On the breath out, lower halfway or all the way. Inhale for cobra, upward facing. And then exhale, downward facing. So this time, we're gonna inhale, sweep that left foot up, keeping the hips closed. And then begin to bend the knee, and then take the knee towards the belly. And then just let the toes come down to the ground again. We're just gonna do that 2 more times. Inhale, sweep that leg up, then pulling the knee in. Again, inhale, sweep up. And exhale, taking it in. Then coming back to downward facing dog. And we'll go to the right side. So we'll inhale, sweep the right foot off, keep the hips closed. And then bend the knee in towards the belly. Foot just grazes the ground, and inhale the foot up. Exhale, take the knee in towards the chest. Last time, inhale up. And then this time you can bend the knee, open up the hip. Circling that ankle out, and then circling out the hip. Inhale, straighten up that right leg, and exhale, knee to chest, knee to nose, and then place that foot in between the hands, low lunge. And just taking a breath here to settle the hips, really grounding down through that back heel and the front foot. We'll inhale, take it all the way up, high crescent pose. And just bringing awareness to the body, the shoulders stacking right on top of the hips. Shoulders nice and soft, whether the hands are up or even down. And then even bring awareness to your face. See if you're scrunching your face, and see if you can just relax the tension just a bit more. 2 more breaths. Calm breath in. Calm breath out. And next, inhale, straighten up that front leg, lift all the way. Exhale, begin to spin open to the left, and then exhale, settling down, warrior 2. rolling the shoulders down the spine. Eagerly reaching with both fingertips, front and back. This is kind of a weird cue, but think of your feet trying to come together. They're not really, but that's how energetically you're supposed to ground down and feel this energy reaching all the way up. But if that doesn't make sense, no worries. Just feeling nice and grounded in this pose. We'll take one more breath in. One more breath out. Inhale, reverse, tipping it on back. And then exhale, coming over towards the front, extended side angle. So again, just pressing that forearm down on the top of the thigh, creating more space between your ear and shoulder. And then if you have the space, maybe take that top arm to the low back, maybe even find that right hip crease. And then maybe that right arm finds the ground, or the fingertips find the block. And then if and only if you have the space, maybe hooking on. We'll stay here for a full breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, begin to tip it all the way back, reverse. And then exhale, cartwheel the hands down to the ground, low lunge. Right foot meets the left. And then going straight to downward facing dog or taking your flow. Settling here for a breath. So you can either stay in your normal stance, or you can come back to that wide stance, or you can even move the toes up just an inch. We're gonna come into a downward facing dog twist. So just play around with it, see what works for you. But we're going to bend that right knee first, and then take that left hand and see if you can thread it underneath you. Grab a hold of that left ankle. If not, you can grab onto a calf or even your thigh. And then once you have a hold, begin to carefully and slowly straighten out that leg. This is going to help you twist just a little more, looking underneath that arm. And then we'll slowly come back to that downward facing dog. Maybe swing a little side to side. And then when you're ready, we'll bend that left knee. Take that right hand, thread it underneath, grab it onto the ankle, calf, or even thigh, whatever is accessible. You can stay here if this is enough. Or maybe begin to slowly straighten out the leg, helping you twist just a bit more. When you're ready, coming all the way back, downward facing dog. And we'll slowly bend the knees. And then we'll take the knees as wide as comfortable, big toes touching together, and setting the hips back towards the heels, coming into child's pose. Let the shoulders be nice and soft. And with every inhale, inflating the belly nice and big. And then exhale, emptying it all out. So that was just our little break. Again, you can stay here if you've had enough, no worries. But since we worked so much on our downward facing dog, we're just gonna play around it with it just a bit more, challenge ourselves. And again, if this isn't fun or it doesn't feel good in the body, no worries, taking modifications or even coming back to child's pose. So if you're with me, we're gonna come back onto our hands and knees, tuck the toes under, and then lift the hips all the way back in a downward facing dog. So here we are. taking the energy from the crown of the head, pushing it back towards our tailbone, and then sending the energy all the way down the backs of our legs to our heels. So we're in this nice, firm, strong foundation. We're going to see if we can take that right arm and maybe just take it towards our right hip. So we have to do a little bit of balancing. So this may be enough. If you really want to challenge yourself and your core, you can always see if you can lift that left leg up. I'll see if I can do it while I'm talking to you. That's okay if you kind of wobble, just getting yourself situated. And then coming back whenever you had enough of that. And then we'll just try it on the other side, see how it goes. So taking that left arm and letting fingertips reach back, pointing the same direction as your tailbone. So again, this might be enough. Or maybe you want to see if you can engage that right glute and take that right foot all the way up. And this side's probably my tricky side. And then we'll come all the way back to a downward facing dog, swaying a little side to side, bending the knees one at a time. And we'll slowly lower back down to the knees. This time we'll sit back on our heels just for a moment. And then we'll just shake out the wrist a bit, circling them in one direction and then another. And then we'll come to a side seat. Slowly take our legs out in front of us. So we'll flex the toes up towards the sky. And then placing the fingertips next to your hips, we'll help ourselves lengthen out the spine a bit more. We'll inhale the arms up. And exhale, begin to hinge at the hips, leading with the chest. Let the hands fall wherever they may, top of the thighs or the shins, even the ground. Or maybe it's the toes. Again, no rounding in. We don't want to put any more strain on our necks. But just pulling the heart forward. Maybe closing the eyes. Just settling the breath. I know we're inverted a lot this time, so just taking that big fresh air in through the nose. Exhale out. And then if it feels good, maybe begin to round in. Just softening the body a bit more. And then when you're ready, we'll slowly roll all the way up. And we'll keep going all the way back down onto our backs. Once you make your way there, begin to take the right knee, bend it, take the shin in towards the chest. And then rolling out the ankle. We'll take the right arm out into a half T. And then we'll just take the knee down towards the left. Gaze is looking over towards the right fingertips. Bringing awareness to the body. See if you're holding on, maybe gripping with your fingertips or even your toes, or with your face, and see with every breath, just releasing, telling yourself you're safe. The floor, the earth is there to support you. And then when you're ready, taking that knee back into the chest, giving it a nice good squeeze. And sending it down to meet the left foot, and then we'll bend the left knee, pulling that shin in towards the chest. You can always grab onto the back of the leg if that's more accessible. And then rolling out the ankle. Even spreading open the toes and closing them a bit. Then we'll take the left arm out to a half T. And then slowly guiding that left leg towards the right. Letting the body just soften and relax a bit more. And just focusing on the breath. Each breath letting it be a little bit deeper than the last. The breath is what's helping us massage our internal organs, nice and soft. And then when you're ready, slowly taking the knee all the way back, giving it a nice good squeeze. The yogi's choice, you can come into any other pose you need before we come into Shavasana. Maybe it's taking both knees into the chest and rocking a little side to side, or even happy baby if that feels good. Sometimes a shoulder stand's always nice, as long as you come into it nice and safe. And if your low back feels a little funny and you need to reset it, you can always take the feet down towards the mat and then just walking them out wider than hip width, letting the knees drop towards midline. You can stay here for Shavasana if that feels good. And we're always putting a pillow or rolled up towel or blanket underneath the knees. So wherever you are, whatever yogi's choice that you picked, just staying there for 3 more breaths. And then coming into Shavasana if you're not there already. And then once you make your way to Shavasana, just tucking in the chin just a centimeter and lengthen out the back of the neck. Taking a big breath in through the belly, in through the chest, and in through the throat, and then pause just for a second. And then exhale, releasing out the throat, the chest, and the belly. Begin to relax the toes, the soles of the feet, and the ankles. Relaxing the calves, the knees, and the tops of the thighs. Softening the hips and the pelvis. And then letting this peaceful sensation go all the way up through the spine, into the belly, into the chest. Melting the shoulders down into the earth. And relaxing the arms all the way down to the fingertips, letting them naturally curl in. Releasing any tension that might be left over in the jaw. And then softening the space between your brows. Letting your thoughts and mind become weightless as you sink and surrender to the earth. When you're ready, begin to slowly come back to the room, back to your body, back to your natural pace of breath. Start to wiggle out the fingers and the toes. And if it feels good, taking a nice big stretch like you're waking up in the morning. And rolling over to your favorite side into fetal pose. Once you make your way there, just taking a nice calm breath in and a calm breath out. At the bottom of that exhale, slowly pressing yourself all the way to a comfortable seat. Keeping the eyes closed or heavy. And then we'll take the hands to heart center. And just again, let's do it one last time. Plugging the thumbs up into the sternum, feeling that heartbeat. I think it's a little calmer now. Just absorbing that calm energy. Just finding that peace within you. And then we'll just tuck the chin towards the chest, bowing our head. Taking this time to show a little gratitude for our practice and for ourselves. And just remembering that you have enough, you do enough, and you are enough. Thank you so much for sharing with your practice with me today. Namaste. Well, thank you everyone for coming today and practicing with me. It's always nice to see all of you and just seeing you guys have a regular practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day, beautiful rest of the week, and bundle up. It is getting much colder even during the day. And I hope to see you all next week. Bye everyone. And then we'll stop the recording.